So this is a response video to TheeGamerDude. I just know there's two E's in your name. Anyways, I just watched your video and I just want to say first of all, like I totally feel you on the whole like loneliness bit. I've been in I've been in Japan like the last 2 years, and this has been one of the most like isolating experiences in my life. I back home in America, like I have like a pretty strong uh, core group of friends that I've known for a long time, and being out here, it's just I like being on the train. Sometimes it's like I'm surrounded by people, and I just feel so depressed and alone, and the fact that it's like I can't talk to anyone. Like if I just like fell over and died on the train or started dying, like I wouldn't be able to ask for help or anything like that. And part of that's my fault for not learning the language better. But I've been trying to teach myself Japanese. Anyways, point is I understand loneliness. I also suffer from anxiety and like kind of I have some like issues with depression and stuff as well. But like right now tonight I feel great. So I think this is maybe a good time to make a video like this. Um, anyway, so first of all, I just want to say like you bring up you use kind of evolution as the cornerstone for your argument that like humans are selfish and that sucks. And I agree with you. I really strongly agree with your point that compassion is kind of like should be the epitome or the peak of evolution. Um, I totally agree with you on that, and that's why I love people like Carl Sagan and like the Dalai Lama and all these people who are just chronically optimistic about the world and our potential as human beings. And and I really feel that in my personal experience that I've known more compassionate and giving people than I have otherwise. And I could just be really fortunate in that respect. I don't know, but I've just known and I've been blessed to know just so many wonderful people in my life. Um, but I would say that like you bring up baboons and like there are a lot of species of animals that have like an alpha male structure to their social hierarchy, right? So I mean, like some species of canine have this. Um, silverback apes have that. Baboons, um, brain is dying here, but there's many examples of that in nature, and yeah, sure, you can even look at like history, right? There's like been kings and emperors and stuff who had harems, and of course, if you were just a peasant and you tried to sleep with one of their harems, like you'd be executed, and the only way to get a harem yourself would be to become king or emperor or whatever. But you're missing out on like like chimpanzees and orangutans and bonobos, and those are actually all very different. So like orangutans are not polygynous in the same way that like chimpanzees or bonobos are. They have a more solitary sort of social structure. So like orangutans, the male will usually have like a perimeter that he maintains. It's kind of like his space, and then usually he'll only have like one female partner, or maybe two or three somewhere in there, but not a lot, and they're very solitary, right? So like the woman stay or the female stays with the children, and the male orangutan just goes off by himself and is gone for long periods of time. Um, and then chimpanzees are polygynous, in but they also sort of have a alpha male hierarchy. But what's interesting with chimpanzees is unlike baboons, who you mentioned, chimpanzees, the male is the one who is allowed to mate with all the females, the alpha male. But some of the weaker males, they develop ways to also mate with the females. So what they'll do sometimes is like when the alpha male is like sleeping or when he's off doing something else, they will go and sleep with the female. So you know, pr- propagating weaker genes, right? But they're not weaker because survival of the fittest isn't about physical conditioning. It's about survival. It's about who works best in an environment or in certain situations, right? So the person who's most likely to survive in given circumstances might not be the physically stronger person. It might be the more intelligent or the more empathetic or the more compassionate person, right? If you're in a situation where sharing is important to survival, the person who can't share is going to die, right? They're going to be the ones who don't get to go on. And and really, I mean, you look at any tribal culture back in the day, hunter-gatherer cultures, like they all were dependent on sharing, and they were all dependent on everyone contributing, right? You couldn't have one person with all the food because, I mean, you can't do anything by yourself in ancient times. You couldn't. Um, one man by himself can't take down a buffalo, right? And I think, yeah, look at Native American cultures and look at a lot of ancient tribal cultures. Like, there is a much more communal sharing kind of a thing going on. So I think look at that maybe for some sense that, like, humans don't just suck. We are not all shitty beings. There are people out there who do help one another and who do give. I mean, there's so many people, and I found your video from Reddit, and I started really going to that website over the holiday season, and I was blown away by how many posts there were of people coming and helping out complete strangers on the internet. And even the link to this video, it said, like, like, let's help this guy out. Like, like, people there's a whole community out there who cares about you, who have no idea who you are, have never met you in person. Which you pointed that out, and you said, well, there's all these people who follow me and stuff, but I don't know any of them in real life. And that's one of those things, like, I don't know your life, I don't know you, but I do know what it's like to feel that kind of despair. That's why I felt like making this, is that I feel like I've been where you are, and probably I will be there again, because hormones are and brain chemistry is it's a fun thing like that. But I found, for me, like, when I get to that place where I feel just so utterly alone and just cynical, just as cynical as I can be, that if I can go outside and, like, help someone, like, I used to live in this place called Kamakura, and sometimes when I would come back from work, I'd leave the train station, and there's this old homeless guy who used to wander around there. And anytime I saw him, like, I would go up and I'd ask him if he'd eaten anything that night, as best as I could. And then I would go and buy him a hamburger or something, and then I would sit and eat it with him, and then sometimes I'd give him, like, some whatever change I had, or whatever. But I'd always just try and spend some time with him, and I'd always, like, really tell him, like, thank you, like, thank you for letting me get you some food and stuff. And I always noticed that on those days when I got to see him, like, I felt better, like, because I knew that, at least somebody was nice to him, in a day. Like, in Japan, like, they kind of ignore homeless people in a different way than we do in America. But I don't know. It's kind of, well, everybody just kind of gets ignored out here. Like, it's a very kind of mind your own business culture, like, and maybe they don't get, maybe ignore is not the right word, but anyways, it just it changed something in me, to help someone. So, if you feel really like people don't help each other enough, then maybe you can take it upon yourself to, like, to be that guy, like. But it's hard. I mean, I hear what you're saying about, like, the job and stuff. Like, I'm gonna be out of a job because my contract's over in a month, and I'm gonna be in a foreign country with no job and no money, and really not sure what I'm gonna do. But hopefully it'll work out. Can always just become a homeless person, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, man, I just wanted to say, like, I know how you feel. Like, I've definitely felt that way. You're not a senior citizen yet. That's in your 60s, man. I know you said you were bad with math, but you still got another decade before you're a senior citizen. So, hold out. You know, keep hope alive, and I really hope things turn around for you. I hope you find a job. I hope you find some friends. I hope whatever you need to have happen. I hope it happens for you, and just keep it real. So um, that's all I got. Take care.